So the governor here in Texas, Greg Abbott, he said that he was having an issue with all the immigrants flooding Texas because all the immigrants that's flooding Texas, we as Texas taxpayers have to absorb them. All our services that we pay taxes for has been going to them. And some of them that come over are part of the criminal class. Now, if you look at California had an open door policy to allowing immigrants from definitely south of the border just to flood their zone. Now, the people that's been flooding the zone has been people of the criminal class in their own homelands. And now look what you see in California right now. I'm getting all kind of reports about these immigrants that came over their criminality and formed all these gangs running around tagging NK all over the place. And NK means N-word killer. That's what that means. They're attacking black people just for being black. They're trying to run black people out. Then check this out. It's a full court press on black people because this was happening. The LAPD is working with the criminal class from down south of the border with the Latinos, working with them, protecting them. OK. And the Democrat Party is all a part of it, pushing black people out of L.A. So 1 minute you say, OK, you know, the brothers will fight back and do what they got to do. But now they got to deal with the LAPD. On top of that, they got to deal with the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. OK, well, the Sheriff's Department is ran by who? Sheriff Villanueva, an open white supremacist. That's an immigrant, a Latino. So they're trying to get black people out of L.A. And a lot of black people have left L.A. California's policies is the worst thing ever for anybody, not just black people, but for anybody. Unless you got a certain amount of money, you can't afford to be there. And even those people that's there right now, I'm talking about even those criminals, it's going to get to a point that they can't afford to be there either. Because what they want to do, they want to make California a place for the upper middle class to upper class. That's what they pushing. The liberals are pushing in California. So eventually they're going to push them out too. It's coming. But this is what's going on. So because of unchecked immigration and the Democrat Party having this open door policy, and I'm seeing the results of this, right? Because they don't go target the white supremacists because they want a camaraderie with the white supremacists. As a matter of fact, they feel in their mind they're white and they come from Latin America with this anti-black racism already. So that's why they had this camaraderie with the white supremacists. So since, okay, we know this, we know. So now, well, what we have to do and what we have to focus on is black people's well-being and black people's survival. And black people's well-being and survival is going to have to be, we have to take the position of the Republican. We don't have to agree to everything the Republican talks about, but when they talk about immigration, we as black people are going to have to get on that tip with them. We're going to have to. Because we see what happens when unchecked immigration happens in the area and how black people are being targeted. Black people are literally being killed out here. They are innocent black people, not black people that's in these, you know, they in that life and they battling each other, not that sort of thing. I don't even see nothing about that, but innocent black people are killed. You know, like in the 90s, at one point in time, in the 90s, they had said that any black person they catch at night, they'll kill them. It didn't matter if it was a little girl, a little boy, an elderly woman, nobody in that life, and they were doing that mess just because they were black. And my issue is with this in Southern California. And this is my issue with black people. If there was a white gang, a white supremacist writing NK in places, meaning N-word killer, black folk would have been in LA turning the city up. Black folk would have been at the city council. Black folk would have been at the police department. Black folk would have been up there in Sacramento with the state government. Black folk would have been at D.C. and said, how in the world you sitting up here allowing white supremacist terrorists to be doing this and literally writing what they're doing? How is it that we're silent when it comes to any kind of terroristic violence against black people when they're outside of white? That's my biggest issue with the black community. People in Southern California has been way freaking too silent for a long time. I'm talking about black people for a long time, but all this stuff going on. And as of recent, it's really been coming to a head with this American Cholo thing. So this American Cholo thing has actually been a good thing because now all the information has been getting out. Now everybody been speaking about what's going on down there. Okay. But the source of all these problems is unchecked immigration that the Democrat Party want to have come in. And we can't say it's black immigrants, because let me tell you something. Black immigrants, sure, we can have a cultural difference, but black immigrants not doing any of that mess. They're not. So that's why I don't get into those diaspora wars myself. It's because black immigrants aren't doing that. Black immigrants aren't working with the police in mass to try to get black people put in jail. Black immigrants ain't out here killing black folks just because they black. And they ain't doing any of that mess. That's why we have to make sure to look at policies and what's coming across that border, because unchecked immigration, you let anybody come over. So in Texas, they're trying to stop all that unchecked immigration. So what Greg Abbott did, he said, you know what? Okay, in New York City and in D.C., they've been talking about me and talking about how we don't want immigrants here. Say, okay, so I'm going to go ahead on and charter some buses. And when these people come over here, I'm going to put them all on Greyhounds, and I'm going to send them to New York City, and I'm going to send them to D.C. And they want all these people there? That's fine. I'll do that. So now since April, Texas had bused 5,200 foreign nationals to major cities across the country. And a further 1,100 have been sent from Arizona, because the Arizona governor has gotten involved now. So they say Abbott and Arizona Governor Doug Ducey have characterized this system as a voluntary offer to help migrants reach families in other cities. He says it's also been characterized as a political maneuver by the Republican state leaders in response to Joe Biden's handling of the U.S.-Mexico border policy. Now, I have someone I know personally who worked on the border, and he told me that it was better during Trump, the way Trump's policies were on the border, the stay in Mexico policy. He said they greatly helped them as Border Patrol agents. When Biden got in and got rid of the stay in Mexico policy, it's been a floodgate coming over here. When you have 200,000 people coming across that border illegally a month, I mean, come on, that is an invasion, folks. That's an invasion. Let's say in wake, they say, of the migrant influxes, they say New York Mayor Eric Adams and D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser have expressed alarm and criticized Texas, Arizona for the practice. They said Bowser on Friday requested D.C. National Guard be activated indefinitely to help with migrants arriving in the city. It's in response to Adams and Bowser, Abbott released a statement inviting them to visit the border while also continuing to take swipes at the Biden administration. It says law enforcement along the Texas-Mexico border responds to the thousands of illegal crossings each and every day, putting their lives on the line for Texans and for all Americans. They say the crisis demands the attention, they say, of not only the Biden administration, which is responsible for securing the border, which he is, they say, but of leaders across the country. Abbott wrote in the statement, says, Governor, I invite you to visit our border region to firsthand see the dire situation that grows more urgent with each passing day, and to meet with local officials who, like yourselves, realize this matter deserves immediate federal action. So your recent interest in the historic and preventable crisis is a welcome development, especially as the president and his administration have shown no remorse for their actions, no desire to address the situation themselves. It's that Abbott wrote in his letter to the two mayors. They also asked you to join me in requesting President Biden secure the border and put an end to this disastrous crisis. She hoped that Governor Abbott focus energy and resources on providing support and resources to asylum seekers in Texas. It said, we have been working hard, it said, doing it in New York City. Now, that's a Fabian Levy, press secretary for Mayor Adams. He said, we continue to work with federal partners to receive additional resources immediately, but we never turn our backs on those who are arriving. Now, they said the busing of migrants out of state is part of the $4 billion initiative to address border security. The initiative includes deployment of the Department of Public Safety troopers and Texas National Guard to the borders. Abbott claimed that 290,000 migrants have been intercepted at the border since March. But, with this situation, hey, we see with the result in Southern California when you have unchecked immigration and you allow them all to flood a city. Criminality comes with them. There's some good people come across. Sure, there's some good people come across. Some good people that just want a chance at life. They just want to work. They want to provide for their family. I know there's some good people come across. But the problem is, it's unchecked. It means we have a criminal class coming across too. And every time I look up, it's a bunch of young men that's coming across. Young men. And that's the problem. If it was a bunch of women, if it was a bunch of small children, that would be different. But it's a bunch of men, and that raises concern. Do you remember how during the Trump administration, how they were just trying to storm the border? They were trying to storm it. Do you remember those scenes? I mean, these people have a entitlement issue that they think they belong here to get our resources. I pay taxes. I pay a lot of taxes in this country. And even if I leave this country, and whatever country I choose to be in the African continent, I still got to pay taxes to this country unless I renounce my citizenship. So I want my taxes to go to the communities that need the help, definitely in my community. But we see the Biden administration, the ones that black people went out and vote for, the blue no matter who, that's what a lot of you did. And now you have, like I say, the unchecked immigration. You have the high inflation. You have the gas prices. You have the food prices. Now we are in a recession. They don't want to admit it, but all the economy experts say we are in a recession. That means a lot of layoffs is coming, folks. A lot of layoffs is coming. It's coming. And this is the blue no matter who, right? You remember when Biden got in office? I say, you guys gonna have to work with the Hispanics if you want to get something done. Why would he say that to black people when he first got in? Well, what's up your sleeve that why we got to work with them when technically he don't want to work with us like that? You know what I'm saying? He was tipping us off what he trying to do. Because what the white supremacists and the Democrat Party is trying to do is they want them to be the new whites because their numbers are low. So they say, well, look, let's go ahead on and flood the zone with them because we know coming from their countries, anti-black racism is taught. We know this. So we want that we'll label them as white and we'll make them think they're on the team. And then we'll team up with them to go against them Negroes. That way we can keep our numbers up. You understand? I'm talking about this is the plan of the white supremacists. This is the plan. It all sent us back to the white supremacists themselves, but the white supremacists on the Democrat Party. Now, the white supremacists on the Republican side, they don't want all that. They're like, no. We good on our own. We don't want no team members because the reason why we don't want no team member is because we fear they think in their mind they got the numbers and they're going to go ahead and turn against us. That's why the Republican don't want it. You know what I'm saying? The Democrats their strategy is to flood the zone with period. And that is so against us at this point. You talking about we can't get resources now. It's going to be worse later. And I'm speaking up on it because I care about my people. Because I can be selfish and like, they don't bother me. Ain't got nothing to do with what I got going on personally, but it do bothers me because it's still, y'all still my people. Y'all still the people I'm be concerned about. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I have children, right? And even my children that choose to be here, or whatever. I want them to make sure they have resources and they can do good for themselves too, without all their resources being taken away from them. Doggone it, our children deserve a good life too. All these resources going to people that's not even citizens of this country. And we say, come in the right way. Nobody has a problem when you say come in the right way. When you come in, flooding the zone, and you just feel like you are entitled. And then when you get here, you're attacking black folk. You coming in with attitudes against black folk. From the rip. We have been covering these stories on our Black Congregation channel of how that anti-black racism in Latin America is heavy. And I'm a firm believer of we don't need to be importing no white supremacists here. We got enough the ones we got to deal with. We don't need to be importing no fresh ones. Period. We don't need that. We got enough to deal with right here in this country. So this is why politically, as black people, we're gonna have to get on the Republican tip when it comes to that immigration issue, because Democrats are never going to get on that tip. Now I know some of you gonna get in your feelings. They're Republicans. Oh my God, Phil, no. Okay, so you want to keep voting for a party with unchecked immigration? Talk to your brothers and sisters in L.A., in Southern California. Why don't you talk to them? Talk to them what they've been through in the past since the 80s. Just talk to them about unchecked immigration, what ended up happening when you have a criminal class coming across that border that's unchecked. Let's just talk to them. That's all. Talk to them. The reason why a lot of black people left California is because of all of that going on, plus the economics. Talk to your brothers and sisters. If you don't believe me, what happens when you have unchecked immigration? So we have to support that at this point. We have to as black people, if you want to survive. If not, you like I said, put it like this: we got the South, but we won't have the South if they started unchecked immigration. Now, what saves the Louisianas, the Mississippis, and all of those states just because they're not connected to Latin America. When you got states like Texas and all the other ones, those states are right for that. And this is why Republicans are going to continue to win, because this is something that's affecting Black America. I mean, do you remember what happened in that Mississippi chicken plant when ICE ran up in there, got them all up out of there? What happened the next day? A bunch of jobs for Black men. You understand? So it's affecting the community. And when you're bringing in anti-Black racism, oh no, I'm always going to be on the side to get you out of here. If you are anti-Black racist, get you out of here. I don't want you here. I don't look. Go back to your homeland and fix your issues. Why are you running up here? You got all of them big countries where you come from, and you want to leave it for what? Then you want to come up here and get brand new and think you better. You ran from your homeland and thinking you better. How you better than me? How you better than Black people? And you ran. How? That's amazing to me how you go through hell and high water, and then you think you come here thinking you better. If you're not that kind of person, I'm not talking about you. But we know in Latin America that is like that. Black people suffer. Even the dark indigenous looking Hispanics suffer in Latin America just because they're dark skinned. Just because they're dark skinned, they suffer. I talked to my daughter's roommate today. She's one of them. She's a dark, very, very, very dark skinned, indigenous looking Hispanic female. And she talked about how she's heavily discriminated against in her own community because of her skin color. That's what I'm saying. That's how they treat their own. And then the Black folks there, they treat them that way. So no, I'm not for importing white supremacists here, no matter what country they come from. If they're coming from an Asian country, if they're coming from East Indian, Arab, whoever. I'm not for import. No, I will all day long say, oh no, make ICE great again. Get them out. We don't need that here. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on the podcast. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure you click that subscribe button. That way you know we post another podcast. Click the like button. That way you know when help us in the algorithm for sure. And I know you got many podcasts you can come listen to, but you came over here and listened to ours, and we'll see you on the next one.